Yo, what's up, goobas? Today, I wanted to talk about something that's a little more in, the same spirit of the first little LEGO commentary video that I did. In that one, I reacted to the August wave of Animal Crossing. Well, let's do that again, but this time with Sonic. So, yeah, today we're going to talk about the two Sonic sets that I believe both are coming out in August 1st of this year. The first one is 77005 Knuckles vs. Dr. Eggman Egg Crusher Mech, which just rolls off the tongue real good. That's a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. Just do like Egg Crusher Mech, you know? And that's a nitpick. You might notice I'm a little more, nitpicky about the Sonic Legos than I am the Animal Crossing Legos, but we'll get into why. So this set, it comes with 2 minifigures. To my knowledge, both exist already. If one of them is new, it's because Knuckles' mouth is a different print, a different expression. But Knuckles and Eggman have both been done before multiple times in other sets. It comes with the aforementioned Egg Crusher Mech, which, from what I've heard, is apparently a mech Eggman uses in Sonic Prime. Now, I'm not up to speed on all the extracurricular Sonic stuff. I watched one episode of Sonic Prime and was just like, you know what? This ain't for me. This seems like something for a younger demographic, and I'm a grown man. So let's let the kids have this one. I will say that this is a positive I want to give this set for all of the warts that we'll get into in a little bit. I appreciate a pre-existing Eggman device, robot thing. I've only been able to see what LEGO has been putting out this year and last year. There's stuff from back in the day that retired before I got back in the Legos, like that what is it, the Death Egg robot. The premier Eggman Lego set that's on store shelves right now, literally right now, is the $80 one where Eggman has a drill car. And maybe that's in the games, but it doesn't scream Eggman to me. This, well, not only is it a little more Eggman-y, but it also apparently comes from something. And I want to give kudos. It comes from a show, not just a game. If they want to start dipping their toes into the extracurricular Sonic stuff, that would be kind of cool to see, because there's a lot of characters and a lot of just subject matter that I'm unfamiliar with. That would be neat to see translated into Lego. Another positive, if I have to find one, it comes with a cool rock. I've seen plenty of these rocks in Lego sets before, but I currently don't have one. So, everybody needs one of those cool rocks that splits open and you can put something inside of it. And I've seen people heartily celebrating the ride surfboard things from Sonic Riders, and there's a big fist on the front of it because it's Knuckles, and naturally, if it's Knuckles' flying thing, you gotta have a giant fist on it. But everything else about it, it's very... I like the mech. The mech is cool. I don't know if the mech is $45. That's I guess I should also get into that the set is $45. I don't know if I pay $45 for it. I know you're getting other stuff, but it's other stuff I kind of already have or don't want. So it's dude, if you brought the price down to half, that would be... I'd consider it, because Eggman and Knuckles are cool characters, even if I already have them. It comes with rings, that's cool, I guess, but I don't really have anything else to say about them. So let's move on to the second set. So 77006 is the Team Sonic Command Truck. Now this one, I'll get into the price right at the get-go. It's $70. Not the most expensive Sonic set. The big drill Eggman one I mentioned earlier, that one is it's $80. So this one's a bit cheaper. It looks fine, but it's not from Sonic, you know? Like, before anyone is like, Ubu, you're being very nitpicky, you know? Just because it's not from Sonic doesn't mean that it sucks. And one, I would say that's kind of an extreme take on my perspective here. I don't think it sucks. I just don't think it's very Sonic-y. Imagine if like the entire Lego Star Wars wave for like half a year was just like they never made like a Millennium Falcon or a Snow Speeder or a Spider Droid or a Republic gunship or some like topical spaceship that only matters to like one episode of a Disney Plus show everyone's going to forget about in a month, or like a C-3PO, buildable C-3PO, you know, like imagine if instead of like any of that, it was you just got like 2 of those mech suits that come with a minifigure. And that was like that was Lego Star Wars for like half a year. That's how this feels. It's like there's some cool stuff in the Sonic world. We get a Sonic Prime, which I'm not familiar with, but cool. You know, it technically is a thing. And we get the command truck. Like, it looks kind of neat. You know, there's some functionality in there, like the bed. You know, you need the bed and a kitchen. You know, Sonic's got to cook up the chili dogs, and you got a little TV with the Chow Garden on it. Oh my gosh, the Chow Garden reference. Everyone loves Chow Garden. And you got the ping pong table. You gotta have Team Sonic playing ping pong. You know, like, it's just it's a concept that could be applied to like any, you know, like to go back to Lego Star Wars, like the Rebel Command truck, where, you know, Leia gets her beauty sleep and Han Solo plays ping pong and Luke plays Chow Garden, like, or whatever that weird like claymation monster chess game is that Chewbacca gets mad about. Like, you know, it's something you can do with anything. It's not, and this is like the set of the year. It's the big one for Sonic. Speaking of which, I guess we should get into the minifigures. It comes with Sonic, it comes with Tails, and it comes with Metal Sonic. Now, Metal Sonic is dope, but there is a significantly cheaper set to get him and Tails in that came out earlier this year. It's, I think, $30, and it's probably, if there was one Sonic set I had to like suggest, like I had to promote it to people, someone held a gun up to my head and said, Ubu, promote this to people, it would be the Walker mech thing from Sonic Adventure 2. That thing is so cool. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. I bought it because it came with Metal Sonic, and I ended up liking everything about it. And it's not 80, you know, that's also nice. It also comes with 2 brick-built badniks. I don't know the names of them, because I unless it's Metal Sonic, I can't be bothered, I'm sorry. So let me look in the description real quick, maybe it'll tell me. Burrowbot and Caterkiller. It's clever. Burrowbot's got a drill nose so he can burrow, and Caterkiller is a killer caterpillar. It's pretty cool. You know, I recognize them, and it's neat to see like more brick-built badniks. But honestly, me personally, the thing about it that sticks out the most is it has Sonic. Sonic is a minifigure I surprisingly don't have yet. That's saying something for an $80 set. You know, like, I guess the panel with the Chow Garden on it's kind of neat. The little ATV that Tails has is, you know, kind of, you know, that's kind of cool. I don't want to like crap on this set too hard or anything. It's fine and dandy. It doesn't do anything for me. You know, there are a couple things I appreciate about the Sonic theme. For one, if you like the little animal friends, I like that they keep making these little individual molded animal friends. You get like the flicky bird and the turtle. I don't care about them, but someone does, I hope. In the brick-built badniks, I think a lot more could be done with the badniks, but I do think that's cool. You know, I personally, I have the egg pawn, the egg robo, and there's like this really just nondescript drone thing that came in the same set as the egg pawn, if I remember correctly. I don't know what it's called. It's like the robo gunner or something like that. I would trade that flying drone thing for Caterkiller in a heartbeat. I think that's neat. The brick built badniks are pretty dope. In theory, if they rush the characters out a little bit quicker, I do appreciate that they're like doing these unique head molds for like each character. And that's something I want to get into in a little bit. Like I said, I don't have as much to say about these sets as I do the Animal Crossing ones, because neither of them look particularly interesting to me. I'm not interested in like, oh, I don't have Tails winking yet, you know? It's like, I have Tails already. I'm not such a big Tails fan that I need him angry, him smiling, and him winking, and him neutral like, I'm not like that. It's just like, I got Tails, it's fine. And so out of these 5 minifigures, badniks not included, I only am missing one, and there are cheaper sets for me to go get him. Probably that specific version of Sonic too. But that, like, I see a problem with the Sonic theme. So in the last video, you know, when we talked about Animal Crossing, I mentioned how it's kind of genius how the artistic development of Animal Crossing villagers works in favor of the Lego minifigures, where when you make a rabbit head, it works in theory for all rabbit villagers. You know, there are some exceptions, like Julian. He might technically classify as a horse villager, but he has a unicorn horn, and because that was the first horse villager they made, they will probably have to make a new mold for all the other ones because they don't have unicorn horns. They might have a head sculpt for a cat villager, but for a character like Kid Cat, who always wears a helmet, that won't work, you know, as examples. But generally speaking, you can just take a head mold for, like, you know, they have deer, they have dog, they have frog, they have owl, they have tanuki, rabbit, dodo bird, kappa. Like, they have all these species that most of them, there are multiple members of that species. You know, like the owl head, you're really only going to use that for Blathers and Celeste, but if you need to put them in a set, you have it available. Something like the cat mold is the most useful, because not only do you have a lot of cat villagers, but you also have Blanca, you have Rover, you have Katie and Caitlin, like these extra special villagers who are also cats. So there's a lot of characters they could do, like, use that. There's a lot of characters who could use that head mold. With Sonic, off the top of my head, I really can't think of any characters who, like, there are exceptions, but for the most part, it's like, if you make the Knuckles head sculpt, you can make Knuckles now. If you make the Metal Sonic head sculpt, Metal Sonic's not a good example, because you could also make Mach 3 Metal Sonic, or what, the black one with the yellow stripes. If you make a Sonic head mold, Sonic doesn't transfer to Shadow or Silver or Amy, like to the hedgehogs. It's just Sonic, you know? Like, Shadow's quills work differently, Silver's quills work differently, Amy's quills work differently. They're, like, maybe if you make a Cream the Rabbit head sculpt, you could do vanilla. I don't know. I don't know enough about those characters to, like, know if their heads look exactly the same. Honestly, like, that's like the only other example off the top of my head I could think of. Like, not only is pretty much every character like their own species, with exceptions, obviously, but even within the species, each character looks completely different. So, it's more difficult to kind of streamline this theme the way that Animal Crossing is, where they probably have a plan, like, okay, now that we've introduced this frog villager in the museum, we can use that mold for this character down the line, you know, that kind of thing. So Sonic, it kind of shoots itself in the foot when it comes to, like, the younger playset audience, because they can't put them out very quickly, and when they do, it's like, it's very rarely something actually from the games, and even if it is from the games, like, what 7-year-old is going to be like, oh my gosh, it's BioLizard, you know? They're not going to care. So it's like, why not just give them an $80 bus? But they're still held back. Lego is still very inhibited with the Sonic theme, even if that's their plan, just like mega bus for the kids, you know, who cares? Well, you still gotta make some characters. If a kid already has Tails and Sonic and Metal Sonic, like if a kid already bought like the Cyclone Walker from earlier this year, they're probably not going to be very inclined to ask for the command bus, unless they just think that is the coolest command bus ever. But I don't know, it looks like a dope bus from like the Lego City theme with a couple of extra Sonic themed things attached to it. Like, oh my gosh, the license plate says 1991 because that's when Sonic came out. Oh my gosh, the second story of the bus has a Chow Garden picture in it. Oh my gosh, there's what I assume to be a Chaos Emerald next to the bunk bed. You know, that kind of stuff. So my solution that I would pose, because I don't just want to be like the kind of commentator person who's like, guys, this theme isn't great. Make sure to like and follow, you know. I want to propose a solution. And I think it's a solution that everyone would like, except maybe children. But you could have like a couple play sets. But for like the man-children in the audience who rapidly consume all Sonic media, which we've all been on the internet, we all know that audience exists. If you don't, welcome to the internet. Happy to have you. Just be careful. I would point to the Simpsons theme, which ironically I should have pointed to in the last video when I said they can't dual print on child legs, because they did exactly that for Bart, but I don't pay enough attention to The Simpsons to know that. So recently, they announced the Krusty Burger set. It looks pretty dope, and it comes with Homer, Bart, Lisa, Krusty, some cop guy, and like an employee. Each one has an individual head mold, and although like half of those, like Homer, Bart, and Lisa, you could get in like other sets or like Lego Dimensions or something. The Krusty is new, the cop is new, and the employee is new, if I remember correctly. So like, even though you get 6 minifigures, half of them are exclusive to that set, and that's saying something because for Lego Simpsons, every character gets their own head mold. So I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, Sonic should, like the Sonic theme should dip its toes into the pool of like those more quote-unquote mature sets. And I think there are some cool concepts that could be done in like a more mature Lego Sonic set. First of all, before I get into that, I don't want to lose myself here. The reason that I even entertain this, because you could ask, how does this help with the head situation, the head mold situation? Well, a little more background. Simpsons sets don't come out very often, but when they do, they're usually more expensive. They're more exciting because they're kind of rare. And it's usually it's usually executed in a way that kind of demands, like, okay, this is a scenario where we can afford to make head molds, like a CMF series, a collectible minifigure series, where You know, since you're paying $5 for one minifigure every time, maybe it's something where you can get a little more cutesy with the design of the minifigure, including a unique head mold. Or, you know, we are making an entire modular Lego building, so we can get away with like a more intricately designed minifigure, i.e. making a unique head mold for it. If you were to do that with Sonic, the same rules would apply. The next problem, of course, would be like, well, what do you make? You know? And I think there's a lot you could do. Personally, just to rattle some ideas off, well, we got Tails' Walker from Adventure 2. Why not do the Egg Walker? Like, for the Egg Walker, you already have Eggman. Like, this isn't even a part of the solution I just posed, or the idea I just posed. This is just, why haven't you done it yet? You know? Just make like a $30 Eggman set. Maybe it comes with like one other minifigure. It doesn't even have to be anything particularly interesting. A cheaply accessible Eggman with like an iconic Eggman robot. You could do the Chow Walkers. I think it would be pretty cool to see Chow minifigures. I don't know how you do that, but you could do like a really cool detailed Chow mech and make, you know, like the light Chow and the dark Chow. I don't know. One thing I think would be dope that I've thought about is the possibility of like Eggman Empire army building. Now, you would have to answer the question, what is the Sonic character, like the Sonic universe equivalent of a clone trooper? Because my initial impression is an egg pawn, but if every set comes with like 3 of those brick-built egg pawns from the egg drill set, I don't know if people would be that excited about it, because like people like minifigures, but they're not as invested in like brick-built figures, and that egg pawn is a brick-built figure. If you were to make it into a minifigure, how would you do that while allowing it to still look like an egg pawn? You know, these are questions that I'm not totally equipped to answer, because I don't know, I don't get paid to do it. But if there is an alternative, you know, to the egg pawn that could be a minifigure and could fill that role of like the obsessively collectible minifigure character, you know, the analog to the clone trooper, do it. That'd be so cool. Like, I get what they're going for with the badniks here, you know, like, the variety of bad guys in the Sonic series is pretty immense, you know? Like, between the 2D games and the 3D games, they're, like, completely different. And then within the games themselves, they're so different. But there's no incentive to army build them because you get one per set. Like, the Caterkiller looks cool, but I'm not spending $160 to own 2 of it, you know? So you would need something that, or a character that you can mold easily, make a bunch of them, people want to collect them, but then you would have to connect those minifigures to something people would want to buy. And when I say Eggman Empire, I'm specifically thinking intro of Sonic Heroes, these big, like, intricate spaceships that are like battleships, you know, like flying naval Eggman-themed battleships that look dope. They're from Sonic, you know, so like you put the Sonic logo on there and package a couple of Sonic character minifigures in there, people, like, Sonic fans will buy it. If it looks cool enough, you know, you might even get like Star Wars fans to buy it. Like, this looks like a Star Wars thing, but it's not gray, you know, like it'll add a splash of color to my collection. But then, who's leading the charge of the Eggman Empire sets, like, sub-series? Metal Sonic. Now, of course, we have normal Metal Sonic here in 2 sets now, but not just any Metal Sonic. You could have Neo Metal Sonic, give him a waist cape. You know, I watch a lot of videos of Lego Star Wars people, and they're always talking about waist capes. Okay, here's a cool waist cape character for you. And he comes in a set with a brick-built giant, like, metal overlord. And you get the big spaceship, the big battleship, and you get the big metal overlord. And you can do the intro to Sonic Heroes where you put that Neo Metal Sonic up at the top, You know, maybe even give him some like lightning effects to shoot lightning out of his hands. Give him an army that's like on. That's such a cool display piece. I would buy that. On the flip side, this like command truck, the only reason I would buy it is because Caterpillar and Sonic are cool and I don't have them, but is that $80? I'll spend more than $80 on a cool battleship or a giant brick-built metal overlord. A lot of the Sonic sets already are like excuses to like package in Sonic characters. Like, I mean, this one, you know, this is just make up like a big bus, put Sonic, Tails, and Metal Sonic in it. Okay, well, do that again, but with like a cool battleship. Like, okay, we got a cool battleship, put Amy, Big, and Cream in it. Okay, we've got a different, like, because there are different battleships in that egg fleet from Sonic Heroes. Vector, SBO, and Charmy. Maybe do a set with Shadow, Rouge, and like a brick-built Omega. I don't know. And like a couple of egg pawns or whatever the army characters are. Just a thought. You know, that's just an idea I've thought about a little bit. Personally, I'm very invested in buying the Star Wars droids, like the Chopper and the R2-D2 and the Droideka. It would be cool to see that with some Sonic robots, like Omega and Metal Sonic, some other ones. Omega's really the big one that I want. I feel like he would transfer pretty cool to Lego. You know, maybe some polybags of like Gamma, because Gamma would be cool to have, but he sure as heck ain't gonna be a minifigure. And I know that like he has kind of like quote unquote sibling robots with him that are like different colors or something. I don't know. I haven't really played Sonic Adventure. So you could have like variants. I don't know. These are, I'm just spitballing. I don't work at Lego, but these are just like ideas, you know? So I know I kind of went off the rails there, stopped talking about the sets that are coming out in August, but all of this is to say I'm not very enthused by the August wave of Sonic. The $45 Eggman mech thing is cool, but a little too expensive for me. I'll probably get it at a price drop. Why not? The command bus, I don't inherently have anything against it. I'm just wondering, why aren't there any new characters in this wave? You know, like we have what, like 9 Sonic characters in minifigure form. And there's a lot of characters you could do, especially if you start dabbling with like outside of the games, you know? Like even within the games there's so many Sonic characters like haven't even been touched by Lego. And then, you know, you got like the Surge and the one with the big tail. Like I don't know anything about the comics, but I see those characters and I'm like, people seem to like those. It would be cool to get minifigures of them. So what do you think? What do you think about the Sonic August 2025 wave? Are you excited? Do you find it a little underwhelming like I do? And what do you think of my ideas? You think they're cool ideas? Leave a comment down below what you think would make for a cool Sonic Lego set. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe and give a like, because I intend to make this kind of a weekly thing. Might not always talk about Lego, but it'll generally be something like gaming or Lego related, just something in my wheelhouse for my content. If you want to follow me on Twitch, that would be cool. Speaking of Legos, I build a Lego set like every other Saturday over at Twitch. And if you want to support me, why don't you head on over to my Patreon and support me? All right, I'll leave you to it. It's in your hands now. Have a good one. Bye-bye.